Never started it. Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Babul Istibra'i Anil Bawli. The chapter of abstaining from urine, right? Right. So here, so there's two things here. One is istinja. Istinja is sunnat. Istibra is for us, right? What's the meaning of istibra? Talabul bara'ati an baqiyatil bawli. To seek. Oh. So didn't we do Babul Khatami yakunu fi dhikrullahi ta'ala? Huh? You sure, ne? Right. Okay, Babul Khatami yakunu fi dhikrullahi ta'ala yadkhulu bihil khala'a. Right. Huh? That one we did already. Babu fi rajul yadhkuru ala khairu tuhrin. Huh? We did that one, yeah. So now, okay. Right. The chapter of the ring in which the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, can he enter with it the toilet? Right. So from the etiquettes of the istinja is that here, that if you got a ring with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you shouldn't enter the toilet, but you rather put it down first. Likewise, not only a ring, but any paper or any dirham, dananir, which got the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you shouldn't, right? Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't take a ring for purification purpose. Didn't we do that? But it's under here now. He didn't take a ring for purification. He took a ring as a seal, right? Because he was told that the non-Muslim kings would not accept a letter unless they had the seal on it, right? And therefore he took a ring. Initially he took a ring of gold. After that he took a ring. Then Sahaba Ikram also started taking rings of gold. Then he discarded the ring of gold and he took a ring of silver, and then he used that ring, right? Then the Khalifa Awal, Khalifa Isani, Khalifa Salis, yeah, Usman also used that ring, and then afterwards it got lost in Bir Aris, which is a famous well in Medina, and then it got lost. The ulama say that the fitna also started approximately after that, right? Right. So Jamhur Muhaddisin, they say that this is the mistake of Zuhriya, that Nabi Akram threw the silver ring. He didn't discard the silver ring, it was the gold ring that he discarded, right? Then you got here now, Imam Tirmizi, however, didn't we explain to you about his hadith munkar? So we did all this already, you understand? Imam Tirmizi, rahmatullah alayhi, he said this hadith, because Imam Buddha said, Hada hadithun munkarun. Isn't it there? هذا حديث منكر وإنما يعرف when it's معروف from Ibn Jurayj. So Imam Tirmizi know this hadith is Hasan, and Imam Abu Dawud saying it's hadith munkar. Then we also explained, right, why he's calling it munkar. And he's saying, Imam Abu Dawud is saying is that the Rawi Hammam, he made a mistake here, right? He made a mistake with the sanad and he made a mistake with the matan. How did he make a mistake with the sanad? Is it between Ibn Jurayj and Zuhri, there was supposed to be Ziyad ibn Sa'ad. and he left him out. You understand it? Therefore, in the next hadith, he mentions that, right? Right. Then we mentioned about the hadith munkar, and we explained what's a hadith munkar. Is that a rawi, right? Who is shadidul du'af, right? For example, is muhtam bil kizb, is suspected of lies also. He goes against a thiqa rawi. That's the one definition. Other definition is a rawi who is shadidul du'af, right? And then he whether he goes against a thiqa rawi or not, it doesn't matter. That will make the hadith munkar. You understand it? There's one rawi in there who's shadidul du'af, right? So Imam Tirmizi said this hadith is Hasan, right? And is an Imam Abu Dawud says the second hadith, right, is ma'ruf, right? Whereas, right, whereas they say, right. So how you make that big now, yeah? So they say, yeah, Imam Abu Dawud has made a mistake here, right? This hadith is not munkar, and rather Imam Tirmidhi said the hadith is Hasan. So how do you make that big now? Is that he didn't discard the silver ring, rather he put it aside before he went into the toilet. You understand it? That's how you will make that big now there. Where you say alqahu, discarded it, you say no, he put it one side and then he went into the toilet. Right. Babul istibrai anil bawli. The chapter of making istibra from urine. So as I mentioned, one is istinja. Istinja is sunnat. Istibra, they say, is faras. What's the meaning of istibra? Talabul bara'ati an baqiyatil bawli. To seek becoming free from the remainder of the urine. Right. And it means that when a person now he is passing urine, then he should not start his wuzu until he is sure that all the urine drops have now come out, right? And by saying here now that when you sit, you urinate sitting, there is more protection, right, from urine splashes when you're sitting in comparison to standing. Right. Let's read now. وبه قال حدثنا زهير بن حرب وهناد قال حدثنا وكيع قال حدثنا عمش قال سمعت مجاهدا يحدث عن طاووس بن عباس رضي الله عنه انه قال مر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على قبرين فقال انهما يعذبان وما يعذبان في كبير اما هذا فكان لا يستنزه من البول واما هذا فكان يمشي بالنميمه ثم دعا بعسيب رطب فشقه باثنين ثم غرس على هذا واحد وعلى هذا واحد وقال لعله يخفف عنهما ما لم ييبسا قال هناد يستتر مكان يستنزه. Right. Narrated from Ibn Abbas, Nabi passed by upon two qabrs, and he said, indeed, they are being punished, and they are not being punished for something major. Right? As of this person here, he never used to abstain from urine, and as of this person here, he used to carry tails. Then he called for a wet branch, and he split it in two. Then he planted upon this one, this grave one, and upon this grave one, he said perhaps the punishment will be made light as long as they do not become dry. And Hannad said, yastatiru, in the place of yastanzihu. Right. So these two qabrs, were they non-Muslims? Some say they were non-Muslims. And the hadith also, halaka fil jahiliyyah. However, they say this riwayat is da'if. Then the others say, no, these were Muslim qabrs, right? And looking at the wordings of the hadith, marra ala qabrayni janidaini in Ibn Majah, right? And Musnad Ahmad, marra bil baqi'i, the graveyard in Medina, right? And the other one saying, man dafantumul yawm, whom did you bury today? So this all points out that these were Muslim graves, right? وَمَا يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي كَبِيرٍ. They are not being punished in something major. In other words, in something that's very difficult to do. It's not that it's not a major sin. It is a major sin. Carrying tails and being having no precaution when it comes to urine, that means your salah is gone. So that amounts to major sins, right? So here it means something difficult. It's not something difficult for them to abstain from. You understand it? Just like the ayat says, وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. And indeed, it is difficult except upon those who got khushu, the ayat of the Quran. You understand it? Speaking about now uh, the ibadat. You understand it? So it is difficult in the meaning of kabira yam in the meaning of difficult. Right. So how did Nabi Akram now make he called for the branches? You know, somebody why say Hazrat Abu Bakr gave him a branch and then he split it in two and he put them on the covers, right? And then so there's two calls in regards to this. Some say yes, it was like that. That if you put the fresh branch on the cover, it will, because that fresh branch will be making tasbih, and that will lighten the punishment, right? There's the one. And others say no, this was just a once-off thing which Nabi Akram did, and he made the dua that, oh Allah, as long as these branches are fresh, you understand, make light the punishment for the occupants of this grave. There's quite a few things you learn from this hadith here. One is adabul qabri haqqun. Punishment in the grave is a reality. You understand? The second thing is that according to the Ahl Sunnah, the azab of the qabr is on the body. And the ruh is returned to the body. Whether it's on the entire body or a portion of the body, Allah knows best. You got that? Right. Then the third thing you learn from this hadith is all urine is napak. Whether it's bawlu ma yu'kalul lahmu or bawlu ma la yu'kalul lahmu. Right. This is according to, and that is the maslak of Hanafiya and the Shawafi. Imam Maliki and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, they say bawlu ma'kulil lahm is pak. And Imam Muhammad of us also says that. You understand it? So this hadith is actually a proof against them. This hadith, what you learn from here is that by putting a fresh branch on the qabr, it is permissible and it is beneficial. Imam Bukhari also said in Kitab al-Janais, Babu Wad'ul Jaridi al-Qabri, and our fuqaha also Imam Allama Shami said it is permissible. However, as they do nowadays, and they put flowers, that is now resembling the non-Muslims, right? And therefore now, because now the non-Muslims are putting these flowers, you rather don't put that, because you don't want to imitate them in any way, right? Right, let's see here. Next hadith. وبه قال حدثنا عثمان بن ابي شيبه قال حدثنا جرير عن منصور عن مجاهد بن عباس رضي الله عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم بمعناه فقال كان لا يستتر من بوله وقال ابو معاويه يستنزه. Right, also same hadith, but the one student is saying yastatiru and the other one Abu Muawiyah is saying yastanzihu. وبه قال حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا عبد الواحد بن زياد قال حدثنا الأعمش عن زيد بن وهب بن عبد الرحمن بن حسنة قال انطلقت أنا وعمرو بن العاص إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فخرج ومعه درقة ثم استتر بها ثم بال فقلنا انظروا إليه يبول كما تبول المرأة فسمع ذلك فقال ألم تعلموا ما لقي صاحب بني إسرائيل كانوا إذا أصابهم البول قطعوا ما أصابه البول منهم فنهاهم فعذب في قبره. قال أبو داود قال منصور عن أبي وائل أبي موسى بهذا الحديث قال جلد أحدهم وقال عاصم عن أبي وائل أبي موسى عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال جسد أحدهم. Right, and Abdul Rahman ibn Hassan, he said, I and Amr ibn As went to Nabi Akram. So he came out, and with him was a shield. Then he used the shield as a parda. Then he passed urine. Then we said, we, in other words, one somebody said, right, look to him. He is passing urine just as a woman passed this urine. So he heard that. Then he said, do you not know what happened to a companion of the Bani Israel? They, when the urine used to afflict them, they would cut that which the urine afflicted. So he stopped them from that. So he was punished in his grave. Abu Dawud says that Mansur says from Abu Wa'il, from Abu Musa in this hadith, he says that what they would cut, the skin of one of them, and Asim from Abu Wail, from Abu Musa, from Nabi Akram said the body of one of them, Jasad Hadim. Right. Just an idea comes up to Mujahid, right? Mujahid has got two students, right? In the first riwayat, his students is Amash, right? And the second riwayat is Mansur, right? About what's the difference between the two riwayats? In the riwayat of Amash, we find that between Mujahid and Ibn Abbas, Taus is in between there. Check properly. You're seeing it. Between Mujahid and Ibn Abbas, you get Taus. You saw it. You need to identify this quickly. You found it. Right. And in Mansur's riwayat, there is no Taus. You understand? There is no Taus. Now the question that arises that which tariq is Sahih? So Ibn Hibban rahmatullah alayhi says both tariqs are Sahih. Right? Both are Sahih. Then what else is mentioned here is, so you say look to him just pass urine just as a woman passes urine. So there's two possibilities of the tashbih. One is he's sitting and passing urine. The women, they all sit and pass urine. You understand it? The men used to stand, right? So the women sit there. So that's one. The other is he's making the parda. You understand? He's making parda. Those days they should just pass urine in front of one another. Right. Outwardly, it looks like those two people had accepted Islam, right? However, there's possibility that it could have been before Islam, right? So if this incident was before Islam, then the statement of theirs would be out of objection, you understand, or mocking. And if it was after Islam, then it would mean that they said this ta'ajuban. So they were new to Islam and they didn't know the etiquettes of istinja. So they said this out of ta'ajub, not out of objection, because now they're already Muslims. Right. So this Sahib Bani Israel, right? So the people, when their ruling was, when the urine comes, you cut your clothes or you cut your skin off, right? And he stopped them from this. Why are you going to all this? It's not necessary. And because of that now, he was punished, right? So you two also now, you two people, you are showing amazement at me following the rulings of istinja or of relieving oneself or passing urine where I'm doing it sitting and I'm putting parda. You are raising your objections or you are saying this thing here and therefore it mustn't be so that what happened to that man happens to you. You understand it? Right. And Al-Maini Rahmullah, he says, Ya Sahibu Bani Israel, refers to Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. Then it will mean, فَنَهَاهُمْ أَنِ التَّهَاوُنِ فِي أَمْرِ الْبَوْلِ. He prohibited them from being lax in the matter of urine. Right. Now, when it comes to what do the Bani Israel, what did they have to cut? So one Jamaat says only the clothes, right? And not the body, because Allah Ta'ala says, La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, right? And the other opinion is, no, they had to cut the skin also. These are from those ahkam, right? Which were made difficult, from the difficult ahkam that was placed upon them. And remember, their ahkam all became difficult because of their attitude and they asking too many questions. You understand it? Them asking too many questions. And then Imam Abu Dawud rahmatullahi said, Qala Abu Dawud, Qala Mansur. Right. He is saying here that this riwayat, just as it comes from Abdul Rahman ibn Hasana, is also narrated from another Sahabi, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu. Right. Babul Bawli Qa'iman, chapter of passing urine standing. Right. So what we understood now from the past is that Nabi Karim Sallallahu habit was to pass urine sitting. Right. And then Imam Buddha brings us, what's the name? There's a heading here to show that there were times when he had to stand and urinate, right? When it comes to standing and urinating, Hanafiya and Shafiya says it's makruh. Hanabila and Malikiya says it's permissible with the condition that you are safe from splashes. You got that now? They say it's permissible for condition that you are safe from splashes. Now, is it makruh tanzih according to Hanafi and Shawafi or tahrimi? They say it's tanzihi, right? Right. But however, some say because it resembles the way of the Nasara, it now becomes tahrimi. Right. Let's read the first hadith there. فبه قال حدثنا حفص بن عمر ومسلم بن ابراهيم قال حدثنا شعبة وحدثنا مسلم قال حدثنا ابو عنة وهذا لفظ حفص عن سليمان نبي والي عن حذيفة رضي الله عنه قال اتى رسول الله سباتة قوم فبال قائما ثم دعا بماء فمسح على خفيه قال ابو داود قال مسدد قال فذهبت اتباعد فدعاني حتى كنت عند عقبه. Right, narrated from Huzaifa said the Nabi Akram came to the rubbish dump of the people and he passed urine staining. Then he called for water. Then he made masa of his khus. Then Imam Abu Rahman said that the one who started Musaddad, right? He said, he continued now, he added something. So I began, Huzaifa I began going far. In other words, somebody's passing urine, you don't stand right there. You go away, most now. Give him some space. I began going away, so he called me until I was right by his heels, right? Now, right. So this hadith here showed that he passed urine standing. The first answer. Clean place to sit. And then the other reason he gave there is that the place was such that if you sit and urinate, the urine flows back to you. The urine flows back to you. Now, Huzaifa said that I began going far, right? And then Nabi Karim called me until I came by his heels. So he used me as a setter. He used me as a setter. That was the whole idea there. Right. Then Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha, she narrates a hadith wherein she says, and this hadith in Tirmizi, Man haddasakum anna Rasul Sam ba'ala qa'iman fala tusaddiqu. Whoever narrates you that Nabi Akram passed urine standing, then do not believe that. So they say one answer to this is that she's not saying mutlakan nafi. What she's saying that it was not his habit to stand. Right? That's the one answer. The second answer they give there is that he never made urine standing whilst in the house, right? And the third answer is given there. She said it according to her knowledge. She never, according to her, she doesn't know of him making passing urine standing. So you've seen in a sanad there, you get ha, right? So the purpose of the ha there is to just show now another tariq. You understand it? Instead of mentioning the whole tariq again, and then they join up. If you look at these two hadiths now, ways it would be nice to just look at it. Say, seen it. Hafs ibn Umar or Muslim ibn Ibrahim, two stars, right? And they both say Hadathana Shu'bah. Then Ha, then Hadathana, this is the third ustad now, right? Hadathana Abu Awana. Then he say Hada Lafzu Hafsin. So the words going to mention is hadith is at first with the ustad there, Hafs ibn Umar, right? But they're all saying something similar. All the ustads are saying something similar. So he's got three ustads there, right? But the two ustads are from Shu'bah, and the one who started Musaddad is from Abu Awana. But then they all join up at Sulaiman. So Sulaiman is what you call multaqal sanadain, right? Who's a Sulaiman? Sulaiman ibn Mahran is known as Amash, right? And then the other person in the Rawi in that hadith, Abu Awana, that's his title. His name is actually Wada bin Abdullah. And Abu Wail in that hadith, his name is Shaqib ibn Salamat. Leave it till there, right? You're gonna fall too behind those boys, you see. Those boys are a couple of hadiths in front.